Okay, so morning everyone. This is Susan with Expand My Brand and Get Your Netting Gear. I am going to be doing a webinar today about worksheets. And the reason I'm doing this is because per the mantra of my webinars, where there's a will, there's a widget. So if you ever have a need in business, there's some company out there that created some online tool that will help you. Sometimes it's free, sometimes it costs. But what I do is I go out and explore and find out if there's a widget that will help me with what I want to do. And a lot of times I'm surprised as where they come up. And this is a really good example. So I know some of you are considering teaching an online course. And one of the things we've seen in online courses is you watch a little video about how to do it, then you download a worksheet and then you fill in the worksheet, right? Or if you do a webinar live, you might do handouts and there'll be a worksheet and you fill it out and people take that home. One of the things that I've always looked at was a PDF. Now, I had to look up what a PDF form is. So I'm going to share my screen right now. No slideshow today, just a couple of screenshots. So a PDF file is basically everybody can read it file. Now, for those of you who have ever emailed someone a Word document or a publisher file, that's not a good idea because one, you don't know if they have that tool. I mean, there used to be several different kinds of Word programs, Word Perfect. Does anybody remember Word Perfect? You know, all these old programs. You didn't know what program somebody might have. I think a lot of people have Microsoft Word now, but the other problem with those kinds of files is a lot of times they'll have viruses that are attached to them. So practice is don't open a file unless you trust the person who is sending it. But Word and all those kind of editable files can be subject to hacking. So PDF files are something that is kind of universally, it's from Adobe Acrobat, which is another company. I saw somewhere where it talked about I think it was printable document file. Maybe that's what PDF stands for. So if you create a PDF file and send it to somebody, as long as they have an Adobe reader, they don't need the Adobe program. They just need the reader, which is free. They can open the file, print it out, okay, or just read it. So just as another widget, if you don't know, when I print something, let's see, I think I had a Word document open. This is not a great, because it's not a form, but it's just a file. So if I want to print that, one of the options I have in my program is I can print it to my printer, or also I downloaded a program called Primo PDF. Some programs have a PDF option, so you can either print it to your physical printer, or you can send it to a PDF form. If you don't have that, you can download Primo PDF, and I'll show you where to get that. It's free. But when you print to it, it'll just open up a little pop-up eventually. And it will, you can then download the PDF file. So this is a really easy, quick way to convert anything, whether it's a Word document, a publisher file, to a PDF format that you can then email for somebody to read or review. This is also good, like for example, this is a waiver. So again, when you have a waiver or something you want people to read, you can say, click to download, and they can download the PDF file. Okay, my pop-up might be behind the window. Let me check. There it is. So I downloaded the latest version. I'm going to finish the setup. Close a couple of windows. I just posted something on social media yesterday because it was Let It Go Day. For those in Promo Republic, it's really cool what days it is, and it was Let It Go Day. And I said, let go of multitasking like a maniac. And if you see my like 35 open windows, you'll go, well, she's listened to her own advice, which is true. I'm not sure where that PDF open file went, but basically what it does is open it, you can download that PDF. And I've been using Primo PDF for years. It's very secure and really easy to use because now you can print anything to a PDF format. Now, one of the other things that I've always admired was a fill-in-the-blank PDF file. So let's go to e-nutshells. So for those of you who are in the mastermind group, you know I have these resources for you. And one of the resources is like worksheet. So this is a PDF format that Elise Dharma had. So you can print this and fill in information like that, which is really nice because now it's interactive. You don't have to just print it. And I am in the cloud storage kind of a person. I don't want a paper because I lose it. And then if I have major updates to it, I have to rewrite everything. And I'd rather type and edit and things like this. So I've always admired fill in the blank PDF files. But to do that, it seemed very complicated. As I was looking for options, you had to download the Adobe App program, which was expensive and to me kind of cumbersome to use. And so because I was developing a course like Elise Dharma, I wanted a PDF fill in the blank file. So I was Googling, where do I do that? And actually, what surprised me was one of the tools I was already using had a PDF option, which I didn't even know about. They might have told me, they said, you can do this, but it kind of went over my head because I wasn't really looking for it at the time. So I'm going to show you one option. Now there's lots of ways to create PDF files. I'm going to show you the one that I'm using currently, and I'll show you why I like it. So I have a JotForm program, which we've talked about. Actually, a few weeks ago, we talked about smart forms. So a smart form can accept payment, it can ask questions, it can intake information. Those forms we're pretty familiar with, but a version of JotForm is to create a worksheet. So I'm going to edit this particular form that I created. And again, at the end, we'll kind of go, and you'll go into Q&A. But you'll see here under the edit form, there's edit as an online form and edit as a PDF form. So I'm going to edit this in PDF form format. I found it kind of confusing to jump back and forth, and since I only want this for PDF, I stayed there. So you see here, I created this worksheet for my mastermind group where they can actually fill in the blanks here. And how you create it, it's pretty drag and drop. For example, if I wanted to include the phone number here, I just have the name and the email required. There's an option for a phone number. So I just drag that over to where I want it. Let's put it below, drop it. And it formats it in phone format. If you have a question, like a short text question, you can drag that over, drop it, and then you just ask the question, like, let's say, how did you hear about me? Did you hear about me? And they can fill in an answer. If you wanted a multi-choice option, like let's say you heard from me from PWN or Silver Lining Network, then you have a multiple choice question or a single choice question. So the difference is single choice is bullets, so either A or B or C. A multiple choice question is, you know, choose any or all of the above kind of a thing. So let's just do the single choice for now. And you'll see how pretty intuitive it is. So you just type in your question. Again, how did you hear about me? Hear about me. And then you can add the options of PWN or Silver Lining Network or a friend or whatever. So this is pretty much the same format that the JotForm form, which is an intake form, does, but it puts it into a PDF format. So let's preview that. There's a preview mode in JotForm, which I really like as well, so you can actually see what it looks like. So this is what it would look like. And you'll see where the page breaks are, and you'll see the submit button. And this is a table. This is pretty cool. I mean, they have lots of different kinds of widgets, so you can pretty much generate a form in any manner you like. Then you can download it. Do I say question, Julie?
Yeah, does it give you an option to drop a logo in, or is that something
Oh
that?
yeah, absolutely. Good question. So for example, let me see here. Basic elements, image. So you would just drag this here, let's say at the header. That's always a good place to put it. Then you just upload your image. You can size it. You can change the color. I mean, there's this design thing over here on the left where you can, let's see. You can see here where you can change the font color, the background color. I won't play with that, but I mean, it is pretty customizable. And the fact that it is with the tool I'm already using, as I mentioned, there's probably lots of ways to create a fillable PDF file. But as I was searching for it, and I said, oh, JotForm has a PDF generator. I've never played with that. And as I played with it, I'm sold on this because I'm already using it for other kinds of forms. So why learn another tool, right? Keep everything here. So again, that's a PDF fill in the blank form. Now, I was experimenting this morning. So again, I mentioned for my mastermind group, I have a resource page. Let me see if I could find that tab again. Among the dozens and dozens of open tabs I have. I was busy composing a letter this morning, so I didn't have time to clean up my desk. Okay, so I'm going to go just to the page and go back to my resources. I think it was under the faculty. So as I mentioned, I was doing a worksheet for my online course mastermind. So I created this worksheet. So this is actually created in Primo PDF. So you'll see here that it's got the fill in the blanks. And if I were to type this in now, you notice up here, it says, in order to submit this form, you should open it in an Adobe Acrobat Reader, which means they download it. So I actually added some text in the newest version, which said, download this first. Because what I didn't want somebody to do was to fill in all the questions and realize they can't save it. So I put a little caption up here once I was playing with it this morning that says, download this first. You can either print it and fill it in yourself, or the cool thing I think about this tool is that it actually saves it to JotForm. Let me show you what that means. I was playing with it this morning, and as I played with it, I went over to my JotForm file, and I'm just got to go back here. And it was with, you'll see I have dozens of forms. And what's nice about JotForm, if you see it, as you create forms, you can actually label them and put them on folders. So you can either organize them for projects or categories or whatever. So let's see, it was this course development worksheet. So in my account, you'll see I have a notification that it's been, there are 3 new submissions for this. So if I go to click on this and hit the submissions button up here, it's going to show me what's been submitted. So you'll see there's 2 entries here with submissions. So what happened is, as I printed, or actually as I was using the JotForm PDF file, it saved my answers into this JotForm account, meaning that the user can go in and edit the information. And this is really valuable for worksheets that are going to be a work in progress. Again, if you have a lot of answers, and like, for example, if you remember seeing in that last form I showed you, it had week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. You have to go from week to week to fill in those answers. You can't fill it all at once. So what I needed was a form that would let the user go in and fill in week 1, then a week later, fill in week 2, et cetera, et cetera. So this makes for a more dynamic PDF form because the answers are saved in a way that the next time they open it, they're the answers they entered last time. Does that make sense? And do you see the difference between just a fillable PDF file and something that's dynamic?
Mm-hmm.
Now, one of the things I put in, let me actually show you this. So these are the submissions, and I'll show you what I added to it this morning. Okay, so I'm going to go out of the submissions area. Go back to my course worksheet. I'm going to edit the form. Again, I'm going to edit it in PDF form style. So what I did this morning is I added this text. Once I realized that what exactly was happening, I just added these instructions: download and open a PDF reader to use it, print and complete, or complete online where results will be stored and can be updated in the future. Do not submit any secure proprietary information because, again, it's in my account, so I don't want them to be putting trade secrets or anything like this. And just, they can either print it if they don't want to share it, or they can, if they want to use it online, they can. Past versions are not saved. Print copies if you was history or backup. So I just decided to kind of put that disclaimer on there as I use this. Yes, Esther.
So what you're saying is that the other person also has to have a jot form
No, they
software?
do not. They do not.
Okay.
So again, when you download this form and send it to somebody, either they can download it from your website or you can email it to them. Again, if you create a form in PDF form, in jot form, as they fill it out, those submissions are saved. I didn't complete a lot, so you didn't see a lot of entries, but you saw those 2 entries I did this morning.
Mm-hmm.
So that saves versions. Now, one thing I will tell you is there's a free version of jot form, and I'm going to go over the different options you have. There's a free version of jot form, but storage is limited. And you don't want a user who creates hundreds of versions because it's going to take up your storage. So you want to purge those on occasion. But also I suggest that you only provide fillable PDF versions for paying clients. I think, I wouldn't want to send this out in an email blast to hundreds of people and say, fill this in, because all of a sudden your storage is going to get used up. But if you have a limited number of paying clients or colleagues and you can kind of manage that, that's the only thing I would say is just be cautious, because again, because each version is stored on your end, you don't want to be eating up your storage space, but also you want to go there and purge. That's why I say, even though past copies are saved, I don't want to be storing it for them. And there's no really easy way to access that. So I just say, save it when you're ready, and at some point they're going to be deleted.
But they'll still have it, though. They'll still have it.
Yeah, that's why when they open as long as I don't delete the latest version, that's where you have to be cautious. Is you got to make sure, because again, let me show you on the submission side. So again, I'm in the editor right now, but if I go back into jot form, you see I've got dozens of different applications for jot form. I just really think it's a powerful tool. Let's see. So if I go to submissions again, it will save all the submissions. You'll see how these are a little bit more filled out. And when you can hit delete all submissions. Now, I will tell you, it will ask you, are you sure you want to delete them all? And I think it will actually ask you for your password to confirm that you want to delete them all. So you can't accidentally, just by clicking a button, delete everything in your jot forms, but you could also delete them individually. So like, for example, if I just want to delete this one because it was a test, I just click this, it says, okay, and it will delete it. So you can. So I would just say, if you are using this PDF version, you just want to be cautious that it could be eating up your storage. Okay. And again, you can control that. The other cool thing about jot form, and this is true for PDF forms as well as fill in the blank forms, which are like intake forms on your website, is you can control what happens when somebody fills out the form. So let's go to strategy session. So for example, I have a form when I'm doing a strategy session with someone. I send them a link to this form so I can ask them questions before a strategy session, so I know a little bit more about them. This is just the form. So this is not a PDF form version. This is actually a jot form version. So again, let's preview that to see the difference. So instead of a PDF version, it's just a form that I send them. They fill in the blanks. And again, it's going to store it in my jot form account. Oh, blah, blah, blah. And you can see where the stars are. They're the required fields. This is a new tool. I just kind of discovered this recently with jot form. Again, where there's a will, there's a widget. I'd seen this form where you can drag and drop priorities. And what I like this from a intake form, because instead of saying, what do you want to talk about? I say, these are my 5 specialties. We can talk about all of them, but prioritize them. So they can actually drag these up in an order. And you'll see what I say is we may not be able to discuss everything during this session, which means, remember we talked about breadcrumbs. So if I knew they wanted to talk about branding, I say, but also we can talk about monetization, we can talk about your website. So I'm actually giving them some ideas of all the things that I can address. But again, I'm saying we're not going to talk about everything. We're going to talk about whatever we can in the 90 or 75 minutes that we have allocated. But this is, again, another tool within JotForm. Yeah, Vanessa.
I know we had a discussion about having a form on my website.
Mm-hmm.
And actually to engage a customer. In fact, if they come there, what are you looking for? You had also outlined a few more detail, whether they're looking for bath safety items.
Right.
And to say, hey, with this form though, it looks like that would be a better form than, you know, the regular contact me.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I will show you some other forms, I mean, very complex forms that not only take information, but educate your client.
Yeah.
And that's what we talk about time saving is why should you spend the time explaining all the things you do, you know, and asking all those questions when you can have a form, ask those questions for you. So one, they have a chance to think about it, right? Because sometimes they don't know the answer, right? And I think that's just true for all of our industries. Okay. Sometimes people don't know what problem they have, or, you know, and if they don't know what problem they have, they won't know how you can help them. So asking them questions that help them understand what they don't know will help you be able to educate them better. And actually the form can do that. So I'll come back to Vanessa and show you another form that I did that might help you know the power of JotForm. But this is just another example. But what I wanted to show you, let's get out of preview mode, is under the settings, you can set conditions. So for example, one of the questions I ask is, do you want the strategy session plus the mind map, or you just want the strategy session? Based on that, their answer, if they want a strategy session, I send them an email that lets them schedule a strategy session. So let's look at that email. So strategy session, if I look to edit that, it says, okay, so excited you requested the strategy session. One of my favorite things. This is what they want. This is an answer they put. So it's like part of the form. It's like the mail merges in Word documents. So this is like a mail merge, taking the information from the form and putting it inside here. And then click here is the scheduler button that I have. So without Susan doing anything, if they selected A, B, C, or whatever in a form, it will do something for you. It will also not only send them an email, but it'll also notify me. So whenever somebody fills out a form, I can be auto-notified that somebody filled out this form, and this is the information that they completed. And so you can turn that on or off. So another thing with the PDF forms, you can do the same thing. If you want to be notified when somebody fills in one of your PDF forms, you can send an autoresponder to you and some kind of message back to the client or the person who filled it out. Pretty cool, huh? I think it's cool. Okay, so let's kind of quickly, and I'll just show you a little bit about pricing. Now, just as I do with my Widget Wednesdays, I will disclaim if I get an affiliate payment through that. JotForm does not have an affiliate payment. I think if you refer a friend, you get extra bonus like submissions and stuff, but I'll show that to you. So I don't get paid for this. I just share this because I think this is one of the best tools I've used, and I've used it for years. Let me show you one other form. Let's see. This is probably the most complex form I've ever created. And if you were on the call a couple of weeks ago, I probably showed the same one. This is the Cordova Council, and I manage their website. Let's see. And they have this thing called Magic Makers. Let's see. And Magic Makers are basically sponsors. And it's very complex. It is not a, let's see. I wanted to see on that actually. I thought there was a link here. We might have disabled it because they've been having some challenges with their events, as Julie knows. All the events they schedule for the year have either been rescheduled or modified or whatever. Let me take it the form on their jot form. So I use jot forms to accept payments. There's a payment aspect to it. I will use jot forms to send, answer questions. I'm now using it for PDF. It's very well supported. I've been able to get answers from support pretty quickly. So this is the Cordova Council. They've been using jot form almost as long as I have. Let's see. I think this is the reservation form. Let me edit this form. You can see that we use it for them for a lot of different things. Submissions for art exhibits, etc. Yeah, this is it. So again, I'm just going to quickly preview this for you. So think about this. In your business, how would this work? So you have information about the business, and let's use Vanessa as an example. So let's say, Vanessa, you say, well, what is your issue? Is it mobility? Is it, maybe a memory issue? I don't know if you have tools for that, maybe with dots, things like that. But you can decide what kind of questions, and it could be like, in this case, this is a single answer. So is it A or is it B? And you'll notice based on the answer, the jot form displays something different. So if it's A, here's some information. If it's B, here's some more information. Then based on that, there's another answer. So based on B, do you want silver? Do you want bronze? So again, I was able to create a jot form that based on the answer shows them different information. And again, this is a really complex form because not only once they select that, then they get to pick what, again, this is a checkbox. So multiple answers, and based on their answers, okay, what day do you want to sponsor? So this is, this was a challenge to make because there were so many moving parts. But man, if JotForm can do this, it can do anything, seriously. And again, then based on their answer payment, do you want to pay by check? And if they want to pay by check, they get an email that says, okay, here's a summary of what you need to owe and what you signed up for. Here's where to send the check. If they want to pay by credit card, it asks them, okay, how do you want to pay? And then it sends them an email, thank you for your payment. Here's your receipt. Again, so in the back engine of JotForm, I'm going to get out of preview mode and go back to settings. Conditions is where you set up all those criteria. Look at the criteria we set. So again, based on A or B, here's what it does. Based on C, here's what it does. And it is just, where there's a will, there's a widget, kind of out of control. This is an amazing tool. And again, here's the emails. And I probably have maybe used 25% of this tool. I'm sure that it does a lot more that I haven't even explored. I didn't even know PDFs were available until 2 weeks ago. So yeah, I think this is a really cool tool. And again, there's a free version. So let's talk about pricing and options for you. And then we'll go into Q&A. Let's see here. I'm in their account, but I can do that. So you'll see here, remember we talked about space requirements. So this will tell you where you are. And with their paid account, they're a nonprofit. So just so you know, if you know a nonprofit, they do offer a discount to nonprofits. And you'll see here where the numbers, the upload space is not near full yet. They got plenty of space based on their account. Let's see here. I'm just going to go to a pricing page. So again, there is a free. Now with the free, and this is what I would recommend you do, just sign up for free and play with it. Just kind of experiment with it. They've got some pretty good help areas, but it's just mostly play with it. 100 submissions per month. So that's not a lot, but to start out, it may be enough for you. That means you can only get 100 submissions that we looked at in any form. I think there used to be, and I'm not seeing it now, it used to be where you could only have 5 forms into the free. They may have changed that because I don't see that listed here, but in case they forgot to update that, it was limiting you to 5. But again, plenty of room to play with. Storage space, that's probably more than you would ever need for this kind of capacity. And you can integrate payments. So you can integrate this with PayPal, Stripe, I think Square, I can't recall, maybe not Square, but Stripe, authorized.net. So depending on what gateway you use, you can accept payment through this system, but only 10 payments per month on the free version. Again, form views, etc. So going to the bronze, which is where I am, this is where you get all of these other features. So it completely bumps you up. Now it's $15.83 if you bill annually. Monthly, it's $19 a month. So yeah, it is a spend. But again, when you think of what time it could save you and what you might have to pay for a PDF fillable PDF generator, it might be a good return on investment. I found it has been because, as you saw, I must have, dozens and dozens of forms in my own account, and probably the same for Cordova Council. And I've used this for other clients as well. Setting up intake forms that are a little bit more customizable than just the contact form, which asks you for your name, email, phone number, etc. Okay, so that's really what I wanted to show you today. Let's open it up to Q&A. Let me stop sharing my screen and get the full
Just make
gallery.
a comment.
Okay.
Is that it's very cool that they have, and when you started showing the payment things, I'm going, how does this SSL? And I don't know if everybody knows what that means, but that is really cool that they have SSL.
Yeah, and they also have HIPAA. So people in the medical area like Loriana Taylor, it is pricey. Actually, I was talking to Renee at Silver Lining Network, and I suggested that maybe for the Silver Lining Network members who need a HIPAA compliant form, that you kind of pool your resources. Because again, if you've got, you can create hundreds or dozens of forms in there. Everybody might not need their own account if you kind of pool it together for Silver Lining. So if you guys think you might need something like that, Vanessa too, talk to Renee, because we've discussed using JotForm with the HIPAA compliance. And HIPAA's a health privacy thing, I think.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Okay, any other questions or comments? So I know Pat, and I'm looking around, and for any of you who are doing coursework like online, I think this is a huge tool because again, per what we saw with Elise, one, it's, instead of just printing it and filling out the worksheet, you can fill out the worksheet online so you can read your handwriting. I can't read my own handwriting. What is that? So it makes it that way, but then using JotForm, it makes it updatable. Because now if they don't know the answer right now, they can go back later and fill in the blank, which again, I think is another huge advantage. You as a provider have to manage the storage. But again, I would just do this for paying clients so you can manage it a little bit better as opposed to just sending out free links to this.
Question.
Okay. Yes.
So when you were showing that, can they just save it as a PDF, or do you have to go to your, so you just save it as, and you can save it on your desktop?
Right, and I think, if I remember when I was using it, let me see if I can find that. So
The workaround that I usually have to do, especially if you got Word docs and stuff like that, if you go to print, you have a window on the very bottom left that you can hit save as a PDF, and you can save anything that way.
Okay, so let me go ahead and go to my documents. I'm going to share my screen in a second.
Sorry, Susan, I have to run, okay?
Okay.
Nice
Well, thank you
meeting
for doing.
Bye. I'll be in touch. Thank
Okay,
you.
sounds good. Okay, bye.
Bye.
All right, so let me share my screen again so you can see what I just did. So I had, as I mentioned earlier this morning, I had saved that document. So you'll see on my file folders, I got this course development sheet. So when I open it, and again, let me get you guys up in here. Change the view. Okay, so you'll see with the answers that I put in here, I just put test. So as I create content, and then if I hit submit, so there's a submit button at the end, which is a little different. So you can, I think you can save it just like you can any PDF file, but what you want to do is hit submit. And you'll see how, oops, submission. So this is a jot form answer. You'll see here that it says jot form. And here, what I would do too is maybe put the disclaimer again. So if they hit submit, the submission saves it to the jot form account for me as the person who sent the thing, but I can put a little reminder. When you submit, this is saved to the cloud to make sure there's no, you know, proprietary information. But let's see if I can download it. Let's see. Oops. You can see I don't use PDF files very much. Do you know where the save button is there, Julie? On a PDF reader? The save button. Oh, let's see, means file. Create PDF. See, all of these are blocked out. So I'm not sure. Let me open it up again. Export, edit PDF, create PDF. I know you can print it.
Yeah.
I'll try to experiment with this a little bit more, but I think when I was first doing this, I think like maybe on a fresh form, when I first submitted it, it kind of put a little disclaimer of, do you want to save this to the cloud or do you want to print it? I think it gave me that option.
But what I'm saying is if you go to just print it and your print dialog comes up, there should be a button on the bottom left that says save as PDF. You can get away with doing that with almost any document.
Yeah, so here I hit the print button.
Oh, yours is not set up like, well, everybody's set up differently.
Yeah, depending on the software, etc. But I can print, because I have this as Primo PDF, there's my option there.
Oh, there you go.
But yeah, you can do a save as. Again, what I'll try to do is when I finish this webinar, I'll see if I can answer the question. But I know that, for example, they can just print this document if they just want to fill in the blanks on, you know, paper. Or, but again, for those people who want to be able to allow their clients to kind of use this as a working document, that's where I saw this as a big advantage, is the fact that it saved the answer somewhere. So you as the user can go back and complete week 2, week 3, or, you know, whatever progression there is. Any other questions or comments? So yeah, just go to jotform.com. And again, I'll when I post this video recording, I'll have the link there too. But jotform.com, again, really responsive. I would suggest just signing up for the free one and just playing with some forms and seeing how you can utilize it. You can, again, embed this form inside a website. So again, depending on what website builder you're using, it creates a, let me see here, I'll go back to Jotform so you can see. Okay, so when you publish it, you can create a link. So this is a link you can send to somebody like in an email or even on your website. Click here to fill out the form, and it will open up the form and then they fill in the blanks. This is not PDF, this is just the form version. When you create it, it gives it like a number. I like to hit this edit number so you can give it a real name, you know, something that means something as opposed to a number. And then again, you can copy the link. You can send this to people by email. Oh, let's see, embed. So if you want to embed this, you just take this HTML script code and just drop that into your website and it will embed it. Now,
Susan, I think that I use a form of this, of Jotform in WordPress. Does that sound familiar to you?
Yeah, well, I'm sure you can drop this into WordPress. I don't think it's a WordPress specific code. But yeah, you can drop this anywhere. You can drop HTML code. The one caveat I will tell you is if your form is not static, like that sponsorship form, which kind of expanded depending on what checkbox you hit, I would suggest making that a link as opposed to embedding it, because it could mess up depending on the kind of form builder or website builder you're using, because it's trying to expand and it may not look great on the page. So just be aware that if it's a static form, just fill in the blanks, it's okay. But if you're looking at something that is kind of interactive, I would suggest you just create a link to that. Okay, any other questions or comments?
I have one.
Uh-huh.
So what if you conceptually get this idea and the whole deal, and you still like don't have the time or to learn the skill? Are there people out there that can do this for you if you pay them?
I can help you. I've been using Jotform for years, and you know, I'm sure there are. I mean, but since you know me and hopefully like and trust me.
Yeah, no, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, just contact me, and what I will do is I will kind of walk through. Like this is what I did for the Cordova Council. I mean,
Right.
we did this as an experiment because their PDF, when they, you know, they would say, download the sponsorship form. And it was huge. I mean, it was huge. And yeah, they could read it, but we decided just to make it easy for them to visualize what they got, just create the jot form. So certainly yours probably won't be that complex, but it can be.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, and seriously,
Okay.
with the conditions and stuff, this to me is just huge because again, if you've ever filled out a form that didn't apply to you, remember, they say, are you male or female? And they still ask you all the questions about, you know, things that don't relate to your sex or whatever. This way, depending on A or B, it won't even show them those questions. It's completely customizable about what it shows and, you know, what questions it will ask them based on their response to previous questions. The other thing that they did, I don't use it that much, but they have actually a form that is one question per page. And this is really good if your audience is really phone-based. I don't like it for, I like to kind of see everything I can on one page if I'm filling out a questionnaire. I mean, I don't know if I just filled out a survey yesterday. I was like, am I done yet? It's like, answer these questions, and it's kept going and going. With their form, it actually tells them what progression they are. Like you're 50% done or you're 25% done. So Jotform has a lot of different versions of this. You can change the color. Like I said, either go in there and play with it yourself or contact me and, you know, I can help you create some forms if you decide you don't have time or interest in dealing with it. Because I love playing with widgets. It's one of my things I do. Okay, so any other questions or comments? Pat, I don't see you anymore.
Well,
Did you get your questions answered?
You answered all my questions, and whoever said, Susan, I would pay you to do it for me. I don't love it as much as you, and I'm happy for you. I don't even know how to embed something. I would rather have somebody do it and do it right. I just don't have the time, but I'm willing to try the free trial Jotform. But if I get the least bit frustrated,
yeah,
I'm 1-800 call Susan.
I think I'll get that number. Yeah, so like I said, play with it. And I had to flash back. So I've been in computers when we used to have card decks. That's how you ran programs. You ran card decks through computers. And I remember my freshman year, I was taking my first computer class, and we were in the basement of UC Davis because that's where they had this big, huge computer, which was the size of a warehouse. It was huge. And I was so excited. My roommate was not as, she says, I don't see how you can like this. So again, there's, everybody to their own liking. So if you don't love doing something, find somebody to do it for you. And that's true for anything, right? Because if you don't love it, you're going to procrastinate and it's not going to get done. And if it can help you, find somebody else who can do it for you. Any other comments or questions? All right, so again, I'll get this video posted sometime later today. And again, if you want to review any or all part of it, I will see if I can find the answer to the printing question that we had from Julie a little bit earlier. But again, just go into the free program and just start playing with it and call me if you need help. So if nobody has any final ahas, closings, comments, you all have a great day. It's going to be warm, so staying inside in front of your computer is not a bad thing. And you guys have a great day.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye.